Changes are underway at the Boston Children's Museum. Construction on a new exhibit is in progress, and it's slated to open this year. But it also marks the end of a beloved exhibit, Boston Black, A City Connects. Joining us now to talk about the two exhibits, Melanie Welch, she's the Director of Community Engagement, and Amanda Busby, Director of Human Resources. Melanie, I want to start with you. This new exhibit is called You, Me, We. Explain what that means.
It is all about identity. It's about individual identity and collective identity, what it means to be in community, what it means to be in a neighborhood. And the idea is that people come together to explore these things together and to be able to share things about themselves with other people. So visitors will be able to talk to each other about who they are.
How are children going to be able to experience the exhibit? What's the experience going to be like for young people?
The experience is very much visitor driven. The impetus behind it actually was that visitors really loved all of the aspects of all of our exhibits that allow them to talk to one another. So they really will be able to see themselves, literally. Right now, what we're doing is we are filming community members. We're filming them cooking, we're filming them talking about their families, and that will be part of the exhibit. And when visitors come in real time, they'll actually be able to share, whether it's talking to other people or actually leaving written testimonies or audio testimonies or even video clips about themselves to share with one another.
Very interactive. One of the great things about Boston's Children's Museum.
Absolutely.
So Boston Black, A City Connects opened in 2004, and the exhibit was created to highlight the diversity across Boston's Black populations. Amanda, you have a very special connection to that exhibit.
I do.
What is that connection?
You know, I was formerly a teen ambassador. I was 17 years old when this exhibit was developed, and I got to sort of participate and share my own stories about growing up in the neighborhoods of Boston. I'm formerly from Dorchester, still live there now. And, you know, it was an experience where we just got to talk about community and share our stories and who we are and, you know, talk about our cultures, like what are our traditions, what were some of our favorite things. And so, you know, I was part of Cafe Saudade, which, you know, I'm Cape Verdean, and we love to dance, like Funana till this day. My children and I dance it in a kitchen. It's amazing.
So you actually are living and breathing the Children's Museum, starting as a youth ambassador and now, of course, in a leadership role. You know, speak to the significance of the exhibits and how important the Children's Museum is in the life of a young person.
The exhibit is really important because, you know, like Melanie said, it's really talking about these stories and bringing families together to just learn about who we are and share their differences or their similarities. And when we think about the museum itself and why, you know, the world is important and how we sort of invest in the community and the families and children, I think that, you know, thinking about my own role in what I do, I love the fact that I now get to work with hiring great talented people such as Melanie, who is now our new community engagement director, that's really going to bring, you know, continue to keep the community at bay and really looking at us as a learning institution.
Now, we talked about Boston Black, opened in 2004. Boston has changed so much since then.
Yes.
Which is why the museum said, okay, let's update our exhibit.
Absolutely. You know, the times have changed and the discussion around race and identity has changed, and so we're changing with it. But one thing that people really loved about Boston Black was this aspect called block party. So we invited people in, just like Amanda was saying, to talk about their culture, to talk about their families, and to really exchange information with people and exchange stories. So we really wanted to keep that story sharing aspect, to keep that aspect of collaboration and working together. And so that's what we will see in You, Me, We. And it's really about being able to continue that conversation. And it's generated by our visitors, but also really generated by some of our staff. Some of our staff that was responsible for Block Party is still there. And so you're going to see what happens with what they've done in the exhibit. And you also get to see that in one of our programs that we have on Sundays, which is called Gather.
Mm-hmm. And you're talking about conversations, community conversations, and also creating teaching moments for young people to understand diversity and what it means.
Absolutely. We really want to have the opportunity to disrupt any kind of biases. But we're not trying to give any answers to anyone. We're trying to give space for people to ask questions. Children are naturally curious. Children are already asking these questions. And we believe that Boston Children's Museum is a place that's safe for them to ask these questions with their caregivers, with their families, with other visitors, and to really be able to have conversations that build empathy and that build understanding.
And let me ask the HR person this next question. With COVID still a concern and kids under 5 still unable to get vaccinated, many parents want to know about any COVID-related policies at the museum.
So right now we still have mask mandate for our staff, and the visitors are actually optional in terms of wearing their mask. We strongly encourage it, knowing that our population is most of our children that are coming are under the age of 5, knowing that they can't be vaccinated. So we do strongly encourage our visitors to wear a mask, but we also want to give the space for the individuals who feel comfortable without wearing it. So, you know, over the last couple of weeks, we just had vacation week. There was a ton of visitors there, and there was a great mix of both, and people were just having fun. And it was nice to just see people back and having a great time.
Great. And when does we open up?
If all goes according to plan, by the end of the summer or the beginning of the fall, you know, due to COVID as well, you know, we are just like everyone else. There are some supply chain issues, but we are really hopeful that by the end of the summer it will be open.
Supply chain issues and just what's going on from day to day.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Okay, all right. Amanda and Melanie, thank you so much for being here today to tell us about this new exhibit opening up at the Boston Children's Museum, You, Me, and We. And thanks to all of you for watching today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cityline 5. And you can follow me on Twitter at Karen Holmes Ward. Have a good afternoon.